Hi everyone. Back in the United States and very jet lagged. But I hope you all are well. Couple of things about this week. We are in week. What week are we in? Are we in week 12 already? Let's find out, shall we? Yes, sure enough, we are in week 12. Believe it or not. This is going rather quickly. All right. So what should have happened last week is you should have submitted your literature review in that discussion forum and you are doing that with your partner. Now, I've gotten a couple of emails for you from some of you that you're having some difficulties getting the literature reviews done. I think maybe it did come as kind of a shock, like, oh my goodness, I have to write a complete 10-page paper. A few of you asked if you could do a smaller paper, and that really isn't the assignment. The assignment is to do a draft as if this is the paper so you can get some good feedback from your colleagues. Now, one of the things I realized is in one of my sections, in at least my first section, I have 11 students as opposed to 10, so it didn't match up appropriately to have everybody paired. So I paired with, as you saw in my notification, one student. Now, in my other section, you might be like, I didn't see that. That's because I had a perfect number in my other section. I make one video for both of you, so you'll just have to listen to this. You all are going to get a copy of this paper. I've gotten permission from that student that I have given feedback on to kind of look at it and get an idea of, like, what are the expectations for this professor for a paper such as this. Now, this is a research paper, which should mean that it should be clear, it should be concise. I think next week they're like, it should have a minimal amount of typos, and then they write next to it, no one is perfect. Yeah, no, it shouldn't have typos. In the era of Word and documents um, and in nothing should be spelled wrong because it always checks it. I mean, yeah, okay, so once in a while you type something and you type and Word gets confused. So a couple here and there, but that's also why you read over a paper over several times before you submit it. So yeah, I'm not really okay with a couple of typos, but if you have a few, we'll deal with it. But that's what this review process is for, and that's why you are sending it to a peer. And peers, when you are reviewing something this week, I ask you to take special care in looking at it because that student is going to be doing the same for you. So you should give them the same consideration. Now, here's the deal. I don't really love the form that they give you to do the feedback on. I'm not a huge form fan. I feel it limits you and the feedback that you can give. I think I have a copy of the form right here. Hang on, let me find it. Forgive me just a second. Hope you're all well and enjoying this lovely day. Here it is. Okay. So you would write your form like this. Now, as you can see, I actually do everything in track changes. That's why everything is red here. I tend to also like maybe just put my comments in because I feel like there's not enough room here to do that in an actual comment that you can use and do in Word. And I put some comments over here. However, I put some limited comments here. I told her where the place where I thought the paper was at right now, as far as grading and some mild suggestions. But where I put the majority of my comments in is right here. So this is the paper that she handed in to me that I reviewed for her. And again, I reviewed one student's behavior because I had an odd number of students in that class. And also she had kind of earned the right because that's what I said is I picked the person that was at the highest grade. So I reviewed it for her, and what you can see, this will be up there, and I highly recommend you all take a chance at looking at it. I put a lot of comments in this. If you feel like you want to get some good feedback too, like direct feedback like this, I highly, highly, highly recommend that before you submit it next week after your peer review, that you send it to the Writing Center. Now, you might be like, oh, how do I do that? I don't want to do that. I don't like to do anything that requires another step of my time. Well, that information is here. I think, is it here that I put it? Let me see where I put it. I might put it here. Like I have a whole tab under APA style. Okay, and look, I have it right here. So if you go there, just click this link. Okay, if you get your paper done, I highly recommend that you utilize the online Owl Submissions paper. These people are great. They're going to give you some good feedback. If you haven't done this already, you should be doing this. I mean, heck, this is a free service. Sacred Heart hires PhDs to be able to give you feedback on your papers. Take advantage of it. I mean, if I could use this person to get feedback on every single paper that I write or every single article that I write, I would. Because that's a free set of eyes looking at something. So I highly recommend you do that. So I did this for this student. I did something similar, but I actually really just kind of went through and gave some suggestions, took out some things, made some suggestions that I felt editing would be better at, and I changed some writing. I recommend you do this as well. Like, again, the form, you want to just do the form, just do the form. But, you know, sometimes I work better when I'm actually commenting on something. So I do this. You take the Word document, you download it as a Word document. Here, when you are on your Word document, go to review and then click on track changes. Okay, usually it appears here, it off, clicks on. Sometimes if it's a PC, it looks a little different, but look for something that says track changes. If you don't know how to do it, Google how do I turn on track changes, and you'll get directions on how to do it. And then as you see, as I type, like let's say I want to say, oh, this is not what I, you know, this is spelled wrong, or I would say this differently over here. Like I just start typing and it goes over and it's in red, so the student knows that this is something that I'm suggesting. And then over here on the side, it says what I took out over there. And then also what I do sometimes is if like right over here, like I took the first sentence out of this abstract because I felt like, you know what, the statistics here were powerful enough. I wanted the paper to start just like that. So I just put a comment right here, and then you can just put a little comment in like anywhere, like, okay, something that she says here, I'm going to say a comment about it. And then you start typing on the side what your comment is. It's just very helpful that way, and then the student can see this. Also, students, if you do decide to do this, and like Brenda, I wouldn't say this directly, but if you take this and then you're like, all right, well now, you know, this, like, you know, professor put all of these comments here, how do I get rid of them? Just go over here to accept, okay? And you can do one at a time, accept and move to next, so you can see each one. Basically, I had a professor that used to do this with me, and I just wanted all her comments to go away because it was so stressful to look at it, at least all the corrections, that I just would hit accept all changes, and then all the changes go away, and now it's a new document without all that red in there, okay? But the things that remain are the comments, and those comments you can address one by one, okay? You address one by one here, and then you can just take them out when you're done. If you just double click them, you can just delete the comment when you're done. So that just might give you a little bit of help in giving a nice review to your student, to your fellow student that's reviewing your paper. Do you have to do this? No. Technically, the requirement is just that you do that form that I just showed you earlier. But this is actually a better way of doing it. Frankly, this saves me time than trying to put all my comments in on one little form, especially since this is a 10-page paper. So it might be a good suggestion for you guys to consider doing that, okay? And then what you're going to have to do is, let's go back to week 12 where you are submitting this information. Okay, so go back to our learning activities, the things you have to do this week. Okay, so the main thing you have to do this week is the peer review of the literature review draft. Okay, so you just click over here. That brings you back to this forum. Okay, and then do here, and then look for where the person that you are reviewing is. Okay, so then you go over here. This was the person that I reviewed, so I'm just going to reply right here. Okay, and then I'm going to attach my two documents. The two documents I have are her actual review that I just renamed because she had named it, you know, Bryant Lit Review. And then I put with SMR comments. That's me, just so she knows that this is the version of the draft that has my comments on it. So you can put that in there. Okay, and then you can also... Look, all these people I went away with, all these parents I went away with won't stop emailing this email chain today. I can't get it to stop. And then the other thing was the peer review form. I did do the peer review form as well. That you do have to do. So as you can see right here, I have the draft with the comments on it, and I have the peer review form right over here. So, oh my goodness, I have to plug in. And then just once those are attached, just hit submit. Okay. And then hit submit again. They just want us to do it twice. And then hit submit again just for fun. Okay, and then it is in there then. So, yes, I think she can open it then. Yeah, then she gets it as a Word document. And then the peer review form she gets as well as a Word document. I wish these people would stop emailing. Okay. So there you go. So she can open it. Okay. Note to the wise, if you do this in track changes, um, right over here, you will need to open it on a computer to read your track changes. Sometimes iPads and iPhones and other types of digital devices do not necessarily show the track changes and, more importantly, the comments on the side. So you will have to open it on a computer if you want to read that. So no, I don't want to save this one. All right, so yeah, so that's about it. Let's see what else we have to do this week. Week 12. I think you just have one more quiz. Right? Okay, yep, there's these quizzes that I know you have to take over and over again until you get a decent grade. Okay, so if some of you emailed me to remind me of things while I was out of the country, I would ask, and I didn't do that, I would ask you to remind me again. I think some of you said that if I told you that if I didn't remember to do it, to please check again and remind me. I was not always on the strongest Wi-Fi, so I wasn't able to do as much work as I wanted to. I was able to get to some of your grading, but I wasn't able to look up some information. So if I did forget to do anything, please re-email me. Most of the grading, if something is missing, this is a strange setup in the grade book. So if something is missing, please bring it to my attention so I can override the grade. The submission that you did last week of the draft, and if you put it through Safe Assign, the grade is just going to read a 0. Don't think it's a 0. It's just a 0 out of 0. It's just holding a space that it's done. What else? What else? Let's take a quick look at what's coming up for next week. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to cover a lot of things because this end of the semester is just coming up very, very quickly. Next week, you're going to do a discussion board. That won't be too hard. And then you are actually going to have to integrate the corrections that you got from your fellow colleagues and then hand me the final draft. So again, I would highly recommend you look at the feedback I gave Brenda. And for those of you that are not in Brenda's section, it will be posted as another thread, the two documents that you can look at. I highly recommend it because it's going to give you a good insight into the type of grading that I expect and the expectations for a paper that I have. I think when Brenda was going out and she gave me permission to post this, she said, "Wow, can there ever be too many citations in a paper?" Because if you notice, when I go through her paper, I say citation needed, citation needed, citation needed. And again, she put a lot of citations in her paper and she did a great job. It's just that there should be citations, and there never is too many citations in a research paper, because the purpose of a research paper when you're writing for a research class is to integrate research from other empirical sources into one coherent paper that's starting to address your research question. So in that case, whenever you read a lit review that starts off a research study, you'll find it'll often read like sentence citation, sentence citation, sentence citation, because you're bringing in information from multiple sources to make your point. So I hope that's useful. I'm rambling on, a little jet lagged, but I just wanted to make sure I started getting you ready, because we do have a lot going on and I really want to get you through the next few weeks, because it is week 12 and there's only 15 weeks of this and we're almost done. I see an end in sight. All right, everyone, hope you have a great week. And again, if you haven't used the Writing Center's OWL submission that I told you about at the beginning, you see the link that's there. I do highly recommend that you use it. Also, for those of you who have not submitted your draft, you should be discussing that with your buddy. And you should be setting up a reasonable time frame that that person has, because it would not be fair to them to be doing it this weekend if they have other stuff going on. But a reasonable time frame that the both of you have to review those drafts to be able to have the best outcome, okay? So other than that, have a great week. Email me if you have any questions. I'm back in the country, so I should be able to take phone calls and stuff like that. If anyone needs anything, take care. Bye-bye. And stop.